The smell of grilled ribs and charcoal clung to the summer air. I stood there, holding a flimsy paper plate piled with potato salad, when my father's voice sliced across the backyard. "You'll never be able to buy this house in your life, Claire." The laughter that followed was sharp. His wife, Linda, threw her head back, cackling like it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. My half-brother Jason smirked from his lawn chair, beer in hand, enjoying every second of my embarrassment. Neighbors pretended not to hear, but I felt the weight of every eye on me. My father, Richard, had chosen the perfect audience. I steadied my voice. "I've been paying the bills here for years, Dad." He shrugged, that mocking, exaggerated shrug I'd known since childhood. "That's life, Claire. Don't like it? Find somewhere else to live." Jason chuckled under his breath. The sound lodged in my chest like a splinter. I set my plate down slowly, my heartbeat steadying in a way that almost scared me. This wasn't going to end the way they thought. Not this time. Months before that barbecue, a letter had landed in my mailbox by mistake, addressed to Richard. The return address? His mortgage lender. Inside. Past due. 3 months behind. One letter led to another, and another. Soon I had the full picture. Richard had been parading around like king of the castle, but the castle was crumbling. Foreclosure was weeks away. I didn't confront him.
Not yet.
Instead, I worked double shifts, squirreled away every extra dollar, and opened a quiet line of communication with the bank. And then came the offer. Buy the house directly from the lender. My father wouldn't even be notified until it was too late. The night after the barbecue, I sat at my kitchen table, pen hovering over the dotted line. It wasn't excitement I felt. It wasn't even revenge. It was resolve.
I signed.
The next morning, in a quiet office, the attorney slid a ring of cold keys across the desk. They landed in my palm like justice made solid. When I unlocked the front door, the house smelled faintly of last night's smoke. This wasn't fantasy anymore, it was mine. I sent one text to Richard. "I bought the house. We need to talk." It didn't take long. His truck rumbled up the driveway, Linda right behind him, Jason smirking as always. Richard's grin was already stretched wide. "You think this is funny?" I met his eyes.
No.
"I think it's business. You've got 30 days to leave or start paying rent."
To me.
Jason laughed, until Richard's grin cracked just enough for me to see the fear underneath. For the first time in my life, the balance shifter. That same night, I went home and began cutting every tie that bound me to them. Electric bill?
Gone. Gas, water, internet?
All removed from my name. Even the car insurance they'd been riding on my policy for years. With a few clicks, it was stripped away. The messages started almost immediately. "The Wi-Fi's down. We can't buy groceries." Real mature, Claire.
Didn't reply.
I just saved screenshots.
Proof.
By the end of the week, Richard's voicemail was full of threats. Jason texted me about how mailboxes can get broken into. And Linda? She turned to Facebook, painting herself as the victim. But I didn't take the bait. Silence was my weapon. 3 weeks later, they showed up at my apartment, all 3 of them standing on my porch. Richard's voice was tight. "We need more time. 30 days isn't enough." Linda's tone cracked. "Jason needs stability. He has a job interview." I pulled a folder from under my arm. "Here's your eviction notice." Signed and stamped. Linda hissed. "You'll regret this." I looked her in the eye.
No.
"I regret not doing it sooner." The moving truck arrived right on schedule. Richard screamed betrayal. Linda sat on the couch, sobbing loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Jason stormed from room to room, slamming doors. I said nothing. Just signed papers for the movers, directing furniture to the truck. By late
afternoon, the house was empty. Their car pulled out of the driveway without a word. I locked the door behind them and called the locksmith. The new keys jingled in my palm. That night, I walked through the house slowly, touching walls, banisters, door frames. Each one claimed as mine. I brewed coffee in the kitchen. Opened the windows without anyone complaining about wasting the AC. I stretched out on the couch without fear of a fight. 2 days later, I invited a few close friends over. We laughed, ate, drank. For the first time in years, the house felt warm. Not because of who was in it before, but because of who wasn't. They told me I'd never own it. They mocked me in front of everyone. But now, the deed is in my name. It wasn't just about buying a house. It was about cutting the cord they had wrapped around my throat for years. And finally breathing.